I'm Dr. Lee McGowan Kaufman. I'm the principal at Yampa Mountain High School, and we're working on the Yampa Mountain High School GlenX Super School project. And I've been the principal here for the past 10 years and also an educator for over 20 years in multiple fields: early childhood education and secondary education and languages. And I'm just excited to work on this project and for us to be sharing some of the concepts that we've explored over the years, and also the opportunity to kind of enhance and develop those from what we've seen has really worked with kids over the last few decades here at Yampa.
What are some of the insights that you think students today in the 21st century, the challenges that they face?
Yeah, I think some of the challenges is the amount of information coming in to students, and knowing how to, one, pull out what is the important information for them, but actually getting the opportunity to explore outside of other people's experiences. So we have, I think students sometimes are a bit overwhelmed by the amount of technology that comes in, but also there's a great opportunity to embrace what we can share and develop together by being able to work collaboratively through technology. So I think it's helping students get to explore their passions and interests really out in the field, still with the balance of the technology that can support that understanding. So I think that's actually, when I say it's a challenge for students, I think because they have so much information, it's actually can be an overwhelming experience for them. Along with its benefits, and I think they get that that's a dichotomy that they face in today's world. All right, so challenges for students, there's crossed a spectrum, whether we're looking at it globally or locally here. At the local level, we see a lot of students that are just struggling families that are struggling economically, students that have experienced trauma in their lives, either family experiences or themselves, and trying to overcome those challenges while also staying focused on pursuing your passions. Those can be big challenges, and so we know that it's really important here to focus on that whole student, to really help, while we're looking at what they're passionate about, look at what's deep going on in their hearts and minds to help them be able to do that in a healthy way. So that's one of the biggest local challenges we have. I think globally, we've got students, young people that are conflicted in trying to find what they are wanting to pursue and what they are passionate about. As I mentioned, we've got an influx of information for students, and so sometimes they're busy taking in and they don't get a lot of opportunity to just go out and experience and give back in the world, do service, explore their passions, and just get to have some of the opportunities to see what ignites the fire for them. So I think that's a big challenge across for students, and something as a school we really have an opportunity to impact. We can give students opportunities to both explore the world from a technology standpoint, which allows them to access a bigger world, but also to experience it very personally through experiences that we can take students out to do, having internship experiences, service learning experiences with nonprofits, and just participating as a school with the whole community, as opposed to learning just occurring within the walls of our school. One of the big tenets I think that works with students to help with these challenges is to push past the school walls and think, where can we learn both to explore those challenges that are on the personal level and on the global level. And that's one of the things we can do in this project.
So how do you think young people best experience school and learning in their lives?
I think they best experience it when it's involving real relationships with other students, with adults, with their community. It's one of those things, I think, when we get to push past getting something done and really get to go to what's purposeful for us. I think young people, like most of us, are really looking to have purpose in their lives, and then learning becomes really valuable and engaging. So that matters a lot. So I think they learn best when it involves relationships with either other people, even the planet. It could be even relationships with their environment and wanting to really build that relationship and support and kind of an environmental literacy piece. But I think that's what helps them learn best.
How do you think students see their education and career opportunities here at Yampa?
I think at Yampa they see the world, they get to swim in a much bigger pond than they have other places. So all of a sudden, opportunities they didn't know were out there, they're getting to explore. They're finding out that there are a lot of people in the world who want to share experiences with them. And sometimes that hasn't been a reality. Maybe the world has looked more like doors shutting than doors opening. And I think here at Yampa, they start to realize, like, if the, stepping through and kind of taking a little risk to try something really can end up in an experience for them that they could have never imagined. And so I think that's one of the things they really get. And those can be both hard experiences and sometimes experiences that go smoother, but it's always good learning, and I think makes them feel like engaged with their own education.
How do you view your role in preparing students best for their future?
I think my role and our staff's role is sort of to help orchestrate these experiences. Teachers, educators, at one time were kind of, we were given the job to kind of convey information down to students, and I think now really what our job is to open up doors of opportunity for them to explore and find the information. Because there's so much opportunities that keep growing and are available to students, whether it's online learning, there's a different way that our job is to help students explore. And I think it's really to be an orchestrator of both, like, the community resources that are out there for students, for us as educators to build relationships with other organizations so that we can help students have access to a bigger learning world way past the walls of our school. So I think that's my main position, is to help build those external relationships for students to be able to access.
In regards to how young people learn, what are some insights you're most passionate about bringing more to life here at Yampa?
Students love the opportunity to take ownership over their experiences. When there's something they're passionate about and they get an opportunity to follow that and kind of go deep into an interest area, as opposed to just covering a lot of information not deeply, I think that's something that we can really offer here. I think we can offer, and I'm passionate about being compassionate to our students and understanding what their world experience is like, and then helping them to see a bigger hope past that. And so giving them opportunities to see beyond maybe what looks like what is right now and what the possibilities are for them. The great thing about youth is they're very creative and they can think out of the box, but sometimes they're surrounded by kind of things that they're told aren't possible. And so I think I'm pretty passionate about students seeing the hope that's really out there of what more they could reach for and can access.
Yampa Mountain High School does a lot of things well in regards to teaching kids about experiential learning. Can you expand a little bit more on how Yampa Mountain High School prepares kids better with experiential education?
Well, at Yampa Mountain High School, we try to give students as big a variety of opportunities as we can. That is both, academically in the classroom for them to, when they're working on a math problem and they're solving that, they could demonstrate that in a variety of different ways, whether through a project or through an exam. It could look like that. But also really opportunities outside these walls. I've alluded to how important that is, but I think that's probably one of the biggest pieces, is really helping students push past the classroom and see where can they learn outside of the school in collaboration with other organizations, other community members. And so I think just making sure, whether it's in the field of arts, or if it's in the field of environmental literacy, or if it's technology, whatever it is that that student's passionate about, helping them find opportunities either individually to go deeper in that, or as a group together, because the group experience can be very powerful. I think all of those are important.
So in regards to partnering with the XQ Challenge, if we were to win this grant, what more do you want to see with what we can provide to students?
I think this is the real innovation and the part of when the concept of rethinking schools is that schools can no longer think they operate in like a silo on themselves, and that they're gonna be offering everything they need to students. The real innovation is to work with organizations that are forward thinking and creative thinking and have access to more opportunities for our students, so that it can be really personalized for each student, so they can really go out, and somebody wants to learn how to weld, they could access a virtual welding program. A high school may not be able to do that, but when we collaborate with organizations that are looking for helping explore innovative approaches to solving society's problems, then we can work together, and the options for students are then kind of exponentially created for them.
So what do you think the mission and purpose here at Yampa that can animate and unify the school?
Yeah. That's probably, looking at mission and purpose is probably what binds us so well here. And at Yampa Mountain High School, we have a mission to help every student really be successful in the 21st century through a personalized approach, through following their passions and being lifelong learners. And we hope if we can instill that, how to be educating yourself along the way, that having that experience will help take students into years way past the time we get to spend with them. So that's part of the mission. Philosophy-wise, we really embrace the concept of relationships and the importance of building relationships, both with our community, with each other, with the bigger world globally. And we do that from using a philosophy by William Glasser, which is choice theory, which is really about taking responsibilities as well for your choices, and that you do get to follow your passions and know what's in your, what we call quality world, what really matters to you, and make that better in your life.
So how would Yampa Mountain High School enable and demonstrate student-centered, standards-based learning?
We use Colorado state standards behind all of our curriculum. We use what we call a backward design approach. So we try and find out what's the big concept we want a student to get. And then we back up and think about what are all the learning experiences a student could have to understand that. So if we want to really learn about the patterns, historically in a social change, we would then think about, well, what are some experience we could give students so that they could understand that big concept. And then after we explore that, we also then have the opportunity for students to demonstrate, or if you will, assess how they learned that through a variety of ways. And we use portfolios to do that. But in a portfolio can also be, it can be very media-based, it can be written, it can be performance-based. There's a lot of ways for students to then demonstrate their understanding of those standards that we've explored.
What are some examples, and how can we further expand on demonstrating student-centered learning for students to learn deeply and build toward mastery?
Yeah, I think students learn deeply when they get to experience the concept the way it exists in the real world. So if you're gonna, with mathematics, to really get to sit and hear how an engineer or an architect uses math and the conversations they have. If you're looking at social justice issues, you can, if you spend time on a reservation and doing service there, to better understand how history has impacted some of the social issues that we see. So I think the best way for students to learn deeply is to have background knowledge before they jump into something which is more of our typical kind of learning in the classroom, but then to delve in deeply into that experience out in the field and out in our communities, with in a very trusting environment with teachers and other students, that they can explore that safely, those concepts.
So what are some additional learning experiences with this grant that we can provide additionally for students?
Yeah. I am so excited about the possibilities of what we could do. I think there is, with this support, there's the possibility to really bring the community here to the school in a different way. You can't see right now, but there's some property outside of the school, and I think it would be really exciting to have opportunities to have artisans and business people actually have almost a Main Street sort of setting here where they could be doing the real work and students could be joining them in that, and that we kind of blend the wall a little bit between school and the real world, if you will, that they get a chance to really interact together in a different way. I also think the importance of sustainable living would really be an exciting piece where we could create environments, increase the environments we've started with greenhouses and giving students opportunities to kind of create a sustainable living setting, but also to face that with businesses and opportunities for other community members to come in and learn about the importance of that. So I think one of the things this grant really would help us do is expand those opportunities for our students, but also for the community, so that the community could access some of the opportunities that occur, and it kind of blend across, instead of the school does this and the businesses do this and the nonprofits do this, that we would kind of work together here. And the students and the staff here, the community members we've surveyed, all have a lot of really exciting ideas about what the specifics of that look like, which we hope we get to share with you.
So this next question is in two stages. How does Yampa Mountain High School currently support and enable students, and how can they further support and enable students to form positive identities as continuous learners, build complex skills, and contribute as members of their communities?
Yeah. So the parts about what the opportunities and the resources out there are really important, but we do that best with students if we feel if our inner spirit has been helped to be in a healthy place. And so I think it is really important that as we're exploring passions and career interests and 21st century skills, we also must think about what it means to be happy and to be hopeful. And so we do help students, like I said, with the Glasser philosophy. We use that to help guide students to what is it that they are really wanting, and are their choices getting them closer to that or further away from that. We put a lot of supports around relationships with staff and community members to help students really explore that, because it's really important students have opportunities to learn 21st century skills, to learn content, but at the same time it's really important that they feel healthy, happy, hopeful from the inside out. That's going to make them able to explore that in a trusting way, and past, again, the walls we have here once they move and graduate from our school.
So I know the alumni, Yampa Mountain High School alums, are very passionate and loving of their experience here at Yampa. What are some memorable experiences that you remember that you'd like to bring more experiences of?
Yeah. I mentioned earlier, and I'd say one of the experiences that is, I think, comes up over and over again is a trip we take up to the Pine Ridge Reservation. And when we do that, we go up there and we're really involved in learning the history of the relationship between the Native American and the United States government. We learn a lot of that, but we learn about the culture there. But you also get this real moment of giving back that I think for a lot of young people, it might be one of the first opportunities they have in their school to feel really purposeful. And I think that stays with them forever, and it's something they carry on in that concept of lifelong learning. If you can go out and do something and be purposeful in your community and make some difference, and that can be a difference in innovating some new business plan or out giving service in the field. But I think that over and over again touches our alumni. Every year at graduation, the students talk about these experiences we go on, whether it's serving in the LA Soup Kitchens, building bunk beds in the Pine Ridge Reservation, going and taking care of dogs at the animal shelter. They speak about those experiences a lot more than any of the math work we did in the classroom. So I think they take that with them, and that connects them from school to their community.
So our community here in Glen Springs and in our valley is a very unique community, tight-knit community. What partners will be part of this ongoing work for the school that can help become an exceptional super school?
Yeah, I think that that's one of the main platforms that Yampa has been able to be successful, is that we know that both our nonprofits, our foundations, our business community, our other schools, our trades, those are all resources for young people to learn. And we have an extensive network, both from kind of the human service educational departments that we collaborate with to make sure students get all the services they need, to business partnerships and nonprofits that students can go do internships and career experiences, and even just share a different type of mentoring experience with an adult that's different than maybe their advisor, their teacher here at our school. And one of the big pieces we are hoping that will even expand more with this project is our work with the Colorado Mountain College, which is the local post-secondary institution here. And we have worked with them over the years, but this is kind of an exciting opportunity where they're really trying to embrace how to help graduates really come ready for the next step and have the opportunities for really exploring taking a passion to a career field or the next educational step. And so I think this grant's really going to help in that partnership, so we can think about all the multiple pathways that students have, not just a degree in a humanities field or a science field, but all the possible innovative fields that kids can create and innovate in. So I'm excited about those possible partnerships.
So in summation, why do you think Yampa Mountain High School should win this Super School grant to be an exemplary high school for other schools around the nation?
I think Yampa Mountain High School has been pushing on looking at schools differently for a long time. And it's great that there's somebody out there saying, whoa, let's rethink this across the board. And I think this is an opportunity for Yampa Mountain High School, instead of pushing on it, to be kind of pulling and leading on some of the things we've learned that works with students, but also now to expand that to what we've been kind of privately knowing is working here, and working with some students who've had some real challenges in schools in the past, to let's make this opportunity available to as many kids as possible. And so I think we bring both past experience and passion for what can possibly be as we grow into this, to this project.
Thank you very much, Lee.
Thanks.